No, I major. Mm-mm. Claude is almost at its max. Claude's had just enough of me. We need something better. Just gonna go ahead and minimize that. Fucking. It used to blur on Windows. It would just wouldn't show it on OBS. Oh, there it is on here. Like, that's helpful. What model to run, huh? NVIDIA H100 is required. When? Or 12. 1 or 12. I saw an Instagram reel that was going over which models were good. Not even these models. It was like random websites. And it was like, some of these are free. Some of these are not free. I don't know if you want to use like a random website. I wish they said on here which one's good. Like a little dash. Kinda good. Maybe a rating. 1 out of 10. The best open source for coding agents. That's not true. If they all say they're the best, how do you know who's the best, huh? Your scale goes to 11? Alright, 12. I had a bunch of weed crumbs on my desk, and I scooped them in that cup. Stinks like weed. Stems and weed. Deciding where to put this. You probably secretly use Windows 11. You naughty boy. Yeah. Windows 12. Well, you got me there. If that was true, I would ask you how much worse is it? Apple does that. They released the uh oh, so it's a trust me bro? It's one of those trust me bros. That's your source. um I mean, even if you had an uncle, I would actually want to know, like, how bad is it? They haven't even fixed 11 yet, and they're like, we're releasing 12? That would be funny. They're so over, your other, how many uncles do you have? You have 10 uncles? Wow, your grandma sure knew how to get around. Windows GUI and the Linux kernel? What does that even mean? So, what I'm using now, but Windowsy. That's the worst thing I've ever heard. Yeah, but what backend? Probably Arch. It'll be gay. It'll be Arch. I keep seeing more and more comments like that on Instagram. I use Arch, by the way, and I'm like, I hate every single one of you. Red Star. I don't even know what that is. It sounds terrible. Why not just call it Death Star? Just call it the Red Skull from what's that movie? Captain America. China's distro? No, it'll definitely be the Chinese distro. The way the Canadian would want it. Canadians. North Korea would just try to hack us. China would steal all our data. It's got to be Chinese. One of these models, I think it's Quen. Quen is Alibaba. That's who again? Who runs Alibaba? Remind me who runs Alibaba? Yep. Well, what's that other site too? There's Alibaba, and then there's that other shitty one. Wish, and then another really shitty one. AliExpress, that one. Temu? Okay, yeah, Temu's the new one. They're all out of fucking China. Alibaba is a Chinese company. It's up here at the top. Quen 3 Coder. Alibaba's performant long context model for agentic coding and tests. Now, if I type in Alibaba, China. It says right here, headquarters, China. I don't think that's probably why it sucks. It's pronounced China or Gina. Wouldn't Gina be a J, a G? J and G sound the same to me. You can't even use the new Claude model. Well, I mean, you can if you click on the new thing. Opus 4.5. But if you go to use it, it specifically says it uses more of your, like, daily usage or whatever to use the better model. I don't understand that one. They're just price gouging. But I'm at, like, 90% of my fucking weekly, and it's Monday. So, I don't feel like using that anymore. I'm paying them money, and they're like, no, it's not enough. Then you give them more money, and they're like, how about more? You should really use the $100 package. How about go fuck yourself? I've seen Kimmy 2 referenced a lot in different ones, like against him. Might be good, might not be good. I don't know. One of these I opened. RNJ, Devstrel, Gemma 3, Quen 3 Coder. Oh, here she comes. Be right back. I'm back, but she's coming back. Hold your horses. Did you look into your network yet, Major? Should probably get on that. I said something to that Canadian douchebag, and I was like, well, all I said to him was he's probably getting scanned out the ass because he's in Canada. And he goes, what do you mean? I'm in Canada. Like, that's his defense against hackers, is because he's in Canada. The fuck does that mean? We have the internet, please. That doesn't mean anything. We have regular please. People still get shot. That doesn't mean anything.
How many cokes?
That one's not gone, so I don't know.
One?
Sure.
One open, one unopened? Or
One unopened. Rita, come back here. Rita! Come back here. I want to pet you. Hi. Hi. Ah, running away. That's the black lab, Rita. You can't see her, but trust me. She ran away. Rita. She actually does bite, but she doesn't like bite like that. Like if you're trying to pet her, she no matter what tries to bite your wrist, but sort of just gnaws on you. Licks you with her mouth. It's like, can you not? And you like pull your arm away and you're trying to pet her. Does it again. Duvet. Duffy's are golden. He's standing here, ignoring me. You can't see him. He's in the doorway, just standing there.
Ooh, a meatball.
You better pet him. He gets one pet. What were we saying? Canadian? He's protected by the Great Canadian Firewall? You mean the Great Wall of China? They're real pro-China over there. They have Chinese landlords. China owns most of their infrastructure. China owns their land. They just recently got rid of a bunch of Chinese telecommunication shit. I'm like, nah, I bet you would. We got rid of that shit a long time ago. You still run it. Ugh. I mean, so do other countries too, but like, come on. Come on, man. Come on. Fucking China. I'm not saying all China's bad. I'm saying the Chinese government tends to do nefarious things in our country, specifically. What do I do with this? It's in my way. It's about to go on the floor. On the floor it goes. It almost took my phone with it. I don't know. You don't even need Claude Code for good coding. What the fuck? Coding. For good coding. I'm a good coder. That's accurate. I'm moving my keyboard, hold on. Yeah, just slide it all the way away from me when I'm eating. So I have room to eat. Okay. Let me switch it to this. Ugh. What am I opening? Oh, Instagram. That's an S. Instagram. Profile. Saved. Okay, I can show that. This video, I just saw last night after I was just talking about TVs and shit. I, of course, Instagram listens. So what TVs do I have? Samsung. Mine's old, it doesn't do that. The new one probably does. Bad cutters? Lovable? See, I've never heard of that. I've not once ever heard anyone even mention it. Have you heard of these? I'm gonna look that one up. What was it? 21 something? 21st.dev? It's kind of like a front end. What's the other one? Lovable AI. Apps and websites. These are all not apps, website based. I feel like that guy made these. Because these aren't great. They're just web development tools. I mean, you could do that in WordPress. See, this guy had no idea what he was doing. See, I don't know what he's doing. Ah. I feel like you can't even see that top screen. Sitting in your chair, I feel like he's not sitting. He's holding the he's holding the phone like he's 5'2", but I feel like these top screens, that's blurry. You look up and be like, what is that saying? So, fuck, I was gonna, I lost what I was gonna say. Oh, he uses Copilot, but then doesn't use Microsoft's Copilot? I thought Copilot was Microsoft's AI tool. Like Claude. Or is Copilot the GitHub one? I know they each have one, I just can't remember the names. All I know is Copilot got hacked. I thought that was Microsoft. I know Microsoft's got hacked too. But the whatever Copilot is got hacked. Yeah, I thought Copilot was Microsoft. But I was on GitHub the other day and it said something about Copilot and I was like, what? Oh, do they? Well, then that makes sense then. I didn't know they owned GitHub. Or I don't remember. I'll take your word for it, but like, let's say they do own it. That makes fucking sense. They own Activision too, I think. The gaming studio that made Call of Duty. Probably why it sucks. Oh, and then I saw a reel. Um, I should have saved it. That would have been good to show on stream. It was this chick. Well, a guy was talking about this chick. That worked at Microsoft, showed up at like 9, eats breakfast at work, like in the studio, whatever they call that, the breakfast lounge. I don't know. And cafeteria, that's the word. And it was like 9:45, gets to her desk, and then like actually logs in. Like, I don't know, she's like talking about doing warm up things or something, and then it's like 10 o'clock when she actually starts, and then like, um, I mean, starts working, and then so like down the line, it's like 10:15, grabs a snack. Uh, damn it, I keep doing that. Some meeting thing, and then at like 11, then 12, like had an hour-long meeting. 12 was lunch. I think it was back to work at 1, Worked for like 2 hours, and the guy doing all the math was like, "You're doing like 4 hours of work," and he's like, "No wonder fucking Windows 11 sucks ass." And I'm like, "Yeah, this is why." But apparently she got fired, laid off. No, I just keep sliding my mouse. If I just don't slide it in that corner, it's fine. I slid my mouse away to grab my cup. I wish I saved that reel. It was funny. But if they're doing Microsoft doing that at the headquarters, good lord, I can only imagine what they're doing at the Activision, GitHub now. I mean, if you already have one campus, bring all the other people there to that campus. Sure, you can cut down on 5 different buildings, but like, you might want to start before 9. The last job in Michigan I had, they were upset with me when I was showing up at 9. I can only imagine all the places that let you show up at 9. That's too easy. I got yelled at, and they're like, "We open at 6 or 7." Don't. That's not what I'm saying. They said 6 or 7, and we want you to be here then. And I'm like, well, that's not happening. Like, I'm not going to. I go to bed like midnight because I'm like doing research and things. Like, at the time, I was doing like studying for different certs and stuff. So I'm like, I'm not. And then going home at 5 p.m. Fuck you. I'm not coming in at fucking 6 a.m. And then, so I showed up at 9 every day for like a year, and then they were quite upset. I mean, throughout the year, they're bitching at me. They don't like that. Companies don't like that. But it's getting bitched at. Lots of you are talking about that, apparently. But the, what? It's true! That doesn't make me a piece of shit. I could probably get rid of this then. Ah, here's that video. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I saw that and I was like, well, I didn't know Pia was bad. I mean, I skipped through half of it. The first part I heard, and I was like, oh, so they're all some giant conglomerate. Don't use any of them. And that list was fucking huge, so I was like, ah. I'm scared to scroll down anymore. Alright, let's see what's down there. Oh, some gummy company. Okay, it's safe. It's stream safe now. I actually don't know what this one is. Okay. I saw this. I thought it was cool. Like, is this a real game? I guess it's data center simulator. Unless this guy's building it. The last credit thing at the top said wish list it. In December. This download would fucking finish. Store data. Yeah, there's no price. God damn it. What is he still working on it? How unfun does that look? Add to my wish list. I saw another video of someone playing it with like the carts, and the carts weren't carting. Like they were using 2 random dollies to make a cart, and I'm like, so it's playable, but I don't know. A Chechenian. You can get it on Steam. Except it's not on Steam. WordPress theme. That's probably why his site sucks. You'd probably like that. You don't need 400 frames. Anyways, we need AI. But I don't want to install it. What was that one thing? Goose. Yeah, this says all the different models. Amazon Bedrock, Anthropic, which is Claude, Azure, Gemini, GitHub Copilot. But then you can use OpenAI and Claude and Google's through the GitHub Copilot. What sense is that? Grok sucks. OpenAI sucks even more, but no, I'd say OpenAI sucks less. Grok sucks. You can use Snowflake and then access Claude. Why not use Claude? Venice AI when you have privacy in mind, but then you gotta use an account and an API key, so no privacy. I don't know what to use. I have Claude Code. I never use it. Supposedly it's super nice. Says every video I keep seeing about it, and Taylor. It can do tasks instead of telling you to do a task. It'll do the task. But then you still have to give it all the information to be able to do the task. So if it's like SSHing into a rig, you then have to give it all the bullshit. Like the passwords and the IPs and the username. You might as well just SSH yourself. But then it'll write all the stuff. Like, why, the commands. Why don't you just copy the command then? It's like $2 on my normal plan, so like it's not a big deal, but it's very strange. And Taylor did say he was using Quen 2.5. And then I laughed at him. Well, I've used Quen too, and it sucks. TOO, not 2.5. I've used 2.5 and 3. They both suck. For general questions, they're fine. They work like every other model. But you're actually using it. The good one was like 14B, and if you use the 7B, it's terrible. We could use Azure. Azure sucks. Let's Google it. And somehow I opened it in a new tab. Scene. Reddit. Top LLM for coding. Quen 2.5 coder. 32B. It's pretty big. If you feel like waiting for it, sure, run a 32B. But you know what you need to run a 32B? Not your computer. Not any of my friends' computer. I have a couple of like money friends, and none of them run 4090s because they don't game like that or do AI work. So like none of them have 4090s that they at least care about. I think both of them specifically have 4080s. One had 4090s, but I think he was just selling them. I wonder if he still has any. He didn't even buy 5090s, which is funny. Like he still had like 4 in his closet in the box, and 5090s came out. And I was like, that's risky. I don't know why he did that. I couldn't tell you. This guy said DeepSeek. No. I've used it. It's not. Devstroll for you if you're VRAM poor, but not too VRAM poor. What does that mean? Fourteen 14B runs easily on 5070 Ti. 16 gig. Devstroll? Is that even on the list? Is Devstroll even on there? Mistral. Coldstral. Did we pass it? What the fuck? Devstroll. 24B is not small. Devstroll 2, even bigger. Mm-hmm. That wasn't as helpful as I thought it'd be. Google for planning, DeepSeek to write code, GPT for error handling, Claude for debugging. That's a lot of work. Ernie 4.5. Why do it locally? Cheaper to use the cloud. Well, if you own the hardware, it's free to run it. Reddit wasn't that helpful. Vellum AI. Look at Claude up here. Claude's the top thing. It is pretty good. To follow instructions and edit code, Claude is pretty good at that. Put one thing in it and it goes, you might want to change some of this. Without telling it anything. And then you say things like, I want to optimize this. And it goes, yes. And you go, how about securing it? And it's like, well, what do you secure it with? You know, I'm going to secure it this way and this way to prevent this and that. And it goes, yeah, do this. Easy. But you still need a base. You can't just say... I mean, even with just Claude, you say, do this. Make me this. That's not great, but like its ideas aren't terrible. But then you ask other bots what their ideas are, terrible. So, like, it is not the worst. Is it better than Claude? Yes. Or not Claude, Grok, yes. I'm stuck on that because a couple people were like, I use Grok. Especially my dumb friend who was trying to set up his arch using Grok and then diagnose with Grok, and nothing was going well. I was telling him dumb things. Now he's using Claude. This says Kimmy 2 thinking. But then over here, it's not even on the list. Llama. Meta Llama is Facebook, right? And I heard Facebook just laid off like 600 people in their AI scope. We don't know what those 600 people were. Meta is Facebook, yeah. And they just laid off 600 fucking people. Nvidia's down here. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. I haven't even used Opus. I think I did once, and then I used my daily limit. Well, you have like an hourly limit, sort of. And I used it in like 5 minutes, so I went back to Sauna. I think it auto went back, but then I realized what it did, and I was like, oh, Sauna. No, no. Was that a thing? Yeah, let me click on that Russian site. Why are you reading Russian news about Facebook? I don't think I should click that. I'm not sure if you're fucking with me or not. That's not remotely accurate, but... Oh, it's that satire? Okay. I couldn't tell. I was like, there's a chance you were sending me a real link, so I was like, no chance though. DeepSeek's down here. I'm turning my light off. It's too bright. Ah, I can see now. Claude is pretty good. Russian propaganda posts inflammatory stuff will pretend to be American, but also not joking. They do that. But the information was probably not accurate. Just off the top of my head there. I don't remember Obama saying he wanted to take our guns. I know Clinton did, Hillary. Like, she was running on saying, "We're coming for your guns," and everyone was like, no. I mean, Biden said it too, but he didn't. He didn't, because he knows he can't. You can't even do that. You know, like, they keep doing those buybacks. The police buybacks. They don't work. Nobody brings their guns in. I mean, like, you get, like, 20 people. Even some states offer, like, $50 a gun, and nobody does it. They offer, like, 300. I don't know where you're getting that from. Trump hasn't ever said taking the guns. First of all, you can't. Like, let's just say, besides the police buybacks, they just start going to people's houses and demanding your guns. They're all getting shot. They're gonna find the one house that has like 15 guys in it. They're all gonna be loaded up. They're just gonna blast the street. Well, they know you're coming. You did one street, the next street over. They're gonna know. Like, you can do one neighborhood. That's it. That's as far as you get. That's not gonna play well. And then go to Texas. And then go to Texas and try that. If they could clean out Texas, the rest of the country would fold. But pretty much the whole fucking the West, besides California, has guns. So I mean, I don't mean like the specific West states. I mean like the whole West side of the country. If you just put a line in the middle of it, West side, East side. The East side has more people. There's more illegal guns on that side. There's more people. But there's illegal guns here too. They are here. But you can just be a normal person and get a normal gun. Like, well, CNBC, that's your problem right there. Didn't was it BBC? They got in trouble for like cropping shit he says. You really can't trust any of them. It's a minute. Yeah, but you didn't hear what the first part of the reporter said? The mental guy, if you have an issue, they're gonna take a gun away from you. That's not unreasonable. If you have been in Michigan, they had a thing called Pine Rest. Not really a mental institution, but if you have been, I don't know, I forget the word. If you've been put in a mental place, not an asylum, but put in a place where you have any issues mentally, you cannot legally buy a gun. It's on the form when you're buying a gun. Have you ever been put in Pine Rest or a mental place? And if you put yes, they deny you. You can't walk out of this gun store with a gun. So if you put no and then later on get put in psychiatric hold, they're gonna come take your gun. That's fair. And then, figure it out later. That's fine. But I'm not saying this. I'm not saying the mental people take the guns. I'm saying the regular people, law-abiding citizens who Hillary was like, take their guns. They don't need them. We need to make this place like the UK and Australia. And then, people still get shot, stabbed, and beaten to death and raped. But, that's a different question, isn't it? Yeah, you want to get into that? I know my laws. I'm not saying they don't say dumb shit. I mean, Biden did say we are going to take your guns too. They didn't. Didn't even try. They didn't even remotely try. What's the other thing? Well, like I said, Texas has a lot of guns, so it'd be hard. And not even mentioning all this shit that's grandfathered in. A lot of people have auto machine guns and shit. Full auto. Everything. I don't think they'd like that. There's a lot of veterans out there that would just not be okay with that. It's not about make America safe. It's not how to do it. I am pro-gun, so I'm just saying. Taking the guns away does not help anyone. Says the actual countries who they've taken guns from. Australia, the UK. They all cry and complain that they wish they had their guns. So, saying that, and then seeing in the news just recently, probably this month, I'm saying, Australia just had like a terrorist attack. People were getting shot. Now, shot with what? Guns! But guns are illegal. Well, they weren't law-abiding citizens, were they? So, I mean, that's my point. And there's no way to know who has what guns either. Some states do. There's a registry. I think there's a very small list of states that actually do that. Most states do not have a registry. So like if in Michigan, when I was there, not 5 years later, 6 years now, when you buy a gun, the gun store keeps your paperwork in a filing cabinet for, I think it was up to 10 years or something like that. So if the cops could figure out what store I fucking went to and ask that store if I bought a gun there, sure. And they could see that a background check was recently ran by what store, sure. They could figure out who I bought the gun from and when. But like, if they just look up the serial number, the only thing in any state, if they look up my serial number, the only thing they can see is if it's stolen or not. Meaning, when you call the police or go into a police station, you report this serial number as stolen if you've had a stolen weapon from you. So if I sell a gun and the guy doesn't pay, I then go report it stolen. Now, when the cops ever check that gun and they see that it is now a stolen weapon, you not get charged with a federal crime. Like, that's not... It doesn't say anything crazy like, Kobe owns 15 guns. Like, that's not... There's no list. So how are they going to go door to door and check who has what guns? Sir, do you have any guns in the house? No. Okay. Bye. That's just a number. More or less, I'm not saying. There's 2 on my wall and 1 on my hip. That's all I get to know. I do need more ammo. How many do you have? None. Negative guns. You don't even have knives in your house. You probably have sporks. It's a kind of a gun. If you Google Map gun stores in Arizona, here, like in my city, what some of the BB store guns came up because like there was a ammo shortage. You're not the first person to say that. That's another topic I'm gonna go on. I was finding ammo, and I was typing in all the gun stores, driving all over town. And we hit like 5 gun stores. No one had ammo. Hit the 6th place, who said they were a gun store. The pictures were all guns. None of those orange tips or anything. And I go in there and I'm like, I need ammo for this. And they're like, what? What do you mean? And I'm like, what do you mean? You're a gun store. I'm looking at guns behind you. And they're like, these are airsoft. And I'm like, what the fuck? Your website does not say that. You are labeled as a gun store. We're airsoft guns. You fucking liars. Get the fuck out of here. It's just so fucking cheesy. Get your corny ass out of my city. Airsoft. With no tips either. Should be illegal. If I was a cop, I'd fucking shoot every single one of them in there. I don't even know if that store is open anymore. I thought that was illegal. Airsoft and BB guns that didn't have the orange tips. I thought that was illegal, but what do I know? Like, if I'm a cop and you pointed at me, I'm gonna fucking shoot you in the face. So, oh, but it was a BB gun. I didn't know. Send me ammo. Don't send me an airsoft gun. If you want shitty ammo, you can buy a big bucket of it. A buddy of mine sent me... Well, I can't say that. A buddy of mine... We're having a polite discussion about ammo. And, he got his dad a bucket of ammo, right? A literal bucket of ammo. And I was like, that can't be the best ammo you've ever shot, is it? And he's like, no. It's more like practice rounds. And I'm like, see, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for actual good ammo in a bucket. I want a bucket's worth, but I want good ammo. Not steel case. I've shot steel case. A lot of it cycles just fine. Not every round. I mean, if you have 200 rounds, probably like 5 of them are going to be bad. Of steel case. But what's nice about steel case, you can fucking pick it up with a magnet. So you don't make a mess. Brass, you can't. Nope, that's staying on the lawn. I'm not picking it up. I could shoot it in Michigan. In my yard. Off the deck. The deck was covered in ammo. There was a ton of brass stuck between the wood slots. I cleaned up none of it. You can't. There's no way to effectively pick it up. Gets lost in the grass. I'm not gonna get on my hands and knees and pick up one by one all that ammo. It was more than thousands of rounds, and I'm like, I'm not. There was just a spot that I didn't mow. I just went around it because I knew where the shit would fall. I mean, even if you hit it with a lawnmower, it's brass. It's just gonna chop it up. You were talking about 3D printers. Chase was just talking about that. He's like, 3D printed guns are pretty good. And I'm like, says the guy without a 3D printer. And I'm like, no, I don't recommend doing that. Like, you were telling me plastics have gotten better, right? So maybe that's a feasible idea. Me personally, I'm like, that's like an airsoft gun to me that shoots real bullets. You just might not want to shoot a plastic gun. A Glock is a polymer lower with metal supports. I forget on the slide there is metal. See? Well, no, the slide where the bullet actually in a pistol there is a removable barrel in the top slide. The slide, the part you grab and rack back, now you have a round in the chamber. That's all metal. When you pull the trigger, metal. The pin that's in the top slide hits the bullet, the casing, the primer on the back, is all metal. The explosion happens in the metal. The hand grip does not explode because there's no bits that are gonna, they're exploding in the barrel. They're not exploding in the hand grip. But there is some kind of metal near that, but it's not like you can't mix metal in your plastic, so it's not like what you're thinking. There's just like a pinned piece of metal as a rail. It's removable to help it slide on the plastic so it doesn't warp when you're shooting 10,000 rounds through this fucking pistol. But it's not like support or anything. It's not structural. It just keeps it from warping or cracking even. The most guide rods are plastic now. In pistols. Springs are metal. That's about it. If I wanted to unload my pistol, I would take it apart. But the barrels, no, that's metal. That's solid. You put the entire brass casing is in the barrel, and the only part that's not is the back of it that's in the slide still. The primer's hanging out and it gets smacked. That's it. The ejection handle, all metal. But polymer is not the same thing as a 3D printed job. That's a different plastic. These 3D printed guns, the slides, you can 3D print something that doesn't have a slide. I'm trying to think of what I'm talking about here. Because I've seen designs where they were fully 3D printed. Because you can 3D print a lower and put a normal Glock slide on it, a 1911 slide. You can buy a slide. Right now, you can buy a slide on the internet and order it to your house. That's not illegal. That is not the part with the serial number in it. The part with the trigger is the serial number. Always has been. On a rifle, on most pistols, it's on the lower. I think Glocks are on the front, but on the bottom. My SIG is on the side. But what I'm saying is you could 3D print the lower, but I just don't trust the 3D print job. The ones that I'm thinking of, the entire 3D printed gun handles the entire plastic. Like the bullet goes into plastic, and I'm like, I don't. see that going well. Some of the new ones do. People shoot them all the time. They're fine. But like you can't shoot them more like 1,000 rounds. They only last like a couple hundred, if that. And I'm like, I just the amount of money and time you spent 3D printing it. Why not just do an 80%? Can I show an 80% on here? Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I like fingers. I like not having nubs for hands. I'll pull up some 80%s. I'm thinking of a site right now. 80. Where's my percent sign? 5. There's actually a few companies here. Yes, I'm 18. C. 80%. What does that say? What does that say? 80% Glock. That's the drill way to do it. I wouldn't do it with a drill. It's gonna be ugly. You buy their upper, they'll send you a free lower. Anodized, billet. I do like the billet ones. They're nice. The billet ones are a block of aluminum that they CNC'd. The anodized ones are, I believe, the pressed shavings. It's kind of like heat pressed into a mold. They're both fine. The billet ones just look a little nicer. They're sharp. I mean, dude, the edges are fucking pointy. Like down here, where the fingertip is, because it's connected there. I have one. That's why I know it's sharp. On the front there, dude, oh my lord. You'll break a window with it. But there's a pistol grip that goes, the actual grip where your hand is, that goes down. This is the back of the gun. On the right is the back. The buffer tube goes here to the right, screws in, and then on top here is where your bolt carrier group is. That actually blows up the round, and then goes this giant thing, and this as long as this 80% lower, goes in the back. And the giant spring compresses and then goes back up. Blows the next round. I've never heard anyone say an AR-15 has a lot of recoil, but I've seen a lot where they're not like the best. Cheap ones awfully have cheap springs, so they just kind of go blah, and you're like, you feel it in your shoulder. Skeletonized would be cool. I skeletonized my own, so let's see the picture of the skeletonized. The middle line with a hole in it, that one, that's where the mag ejector is. So that this is a normal hole. This hole that goes up and down, that's not normal. That doesn't go there. That here, you can remove all of this. The safety goes right here, between these two nipples. There's a circle that goes in the middle. In your safety, you can do a one-sided safety, or you can do an ambidextrous safety. Personally, I like the ambidextrous safeties, because it doesn't matter if I flip the gun over and I'm sitting there. Maybe I want to, flip it, and they're kind of easier to put together. The non-ambidextrous ones made me think they're gonna fucking fall apart. The only thing that holds your safety in there, a non-ambidextrous one, is a spring. There is a spring that goes right here in the bottom, like where I'm pointing. There's a needle that goes up in here, and then there's a spring that's behind the needle, And then this pistol grip that goes down here and threads into this hole that's down here. This is where the grip goes, where I'm hovering. There's a grip that goes there. The grip... Wow, that whole time I was yapping. Why are you lagging? See? Tension set screw. Pistol grip screw. But the magwell skeletonizing, that's pretty clean. Mine has slots. And then I also did slots over here. This block here that looks all black, this gets carved out. Your trigger goes in here. This is what makes it an 80%. This is a solid block of metal. You have to cut out the inside. It goes up from the top here to about, I don't know, 3 or 4 millimeters right here. And then you have a pocket. You put the pistol, not the pistol, the actual trigger group in. You can buy drop-in triggers and just drop it in there. Much easier. I recommend those. You spend a little bit extra. They are nicer triggers usually than non-drop-ins. Boy, have fun putting those springs together. If you don't have a vise to do it in, you're going to break your fingers. I've done enough of them to irritate the shit out of me. And this pin right here, this pin to hold in the bolt lock, when you're out of ammo, the bolt gets locked back into the spring here. The pin that goes in here is a roller pin. Roller pins fucking suck. You have to have a special roller pin tool, and you have to hold it there, and you have to have a special little brass hammer and go bing, 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 get that shit in there. It's annoying. You physically cannot do it with anything else. Once in my life, I did it with a pair of needle nose pliers and, I don't know, some other tool to smack it in there. Worst time of my fucking life. I scratched up that lower like a mother trucker. Try not to swear. Made a mess. Buffer tubes. See? Clicks on the back, thread it in there. These tubes are interchangeable. So if you put the tube on there with whatever spring you want and whatever weight buffer you want, these are just El Cheapos. I recommend spending a little extra and getting something you like. Look, there's different ones. There's also different weights people don't know about. This is a 4.6 ounce. It's fine. It's not going to absorb much. But you can put anything on these tubes. That's like a cheap plastic fucking stock. You can literally buy whatever you want. Rip off the old one, put a new one on. I recommend building an AR. See? Drop-ins. They're a little bit extra. Non-drop-ins, $60, $30, $60. Drop-ins, $80, $90, $190, $100. Spend a little extra. It's not frozen, fuck off. 3.5 pound, that's nice. I have some 3.5 pounds. It says Trump on it. No one would see this. Why does it do... Why is there a label on it? You would see it in my gun. I've skeletonized my lower. But also I didn't do it with a drill. I have an actual CNC I can throw it in. And you can take your pick what you want the skeletonizing to look like, and you go, I want to remove as much metal as possible. All of it. I said all of it. I showed you the other thing I was going to skeletonize, but decided not to because I live in a dusty state. That site's frozen. So I guess we'll refresh it. Great. Site's fucked. Here we go. Uppers. Like I was saying, you can just buy uppers. That's not the part with the serial number. For an AR-15, or 300 Blackout, or 6.5. Yeah, I was gonna say, you can see the stream health. It's a straight line. Reduce your quality. I'm looking at 1440p. Put it in 480. You know people still buy this? Why? Why are people this dumb and still buy these? All this front thing is like a brick. You have a weighted brick on the front of your gun. It's cheaper. It's not. Look how much nicer this is. And you'd rather buy something that looks like a brick. It's not the worst. This is just the first site I went to. An AR-9. A 4-inch barrel. I kind of want one. What was I talking about? Uppers, regular uppers. Didn't really have the regular parts. But anyways, to just tell you what I was talking about. The back part here, that's just the... This is essentially the upper buffer tube assembly part of it. This section here, you can skeletonize this. So then, this inside part here, this is what slides back. This is your bolt. This is like the worst design I've ever seen. But you can skeletonize lines right here. I'm assuming on the top of this. And then on the other side, if I can get to it, you can put a bunch of lines in here. And sort of they breathe better, but now there's less surface area that's lubing the actual bolt carrier group. So then you have to run it with more lube. It's not a big thing. You just have to, keep a thing of lube on you. But here in Arizona, if I drop it in the fucking dirt, I wouldn't shoot it. Like this, and you get some dirt in that hole, it's not gonna be the end of the world. It'll keep out, a lot of the rocks. But you'll still want to probably grab a flathead and try to get out some of the shit. But on both sides and gets down in there and shit, and then it's annoying. You have to take out the whole bolt. It's not that hard. You just open it. With this goofy thing, it might be a little hard to get that bullet out. But with a normal one, see how there's no weird thing. This just slides out. the bolt carrier group just slides out of the back. Let me click on here. So this pin and this pin get locked into the lower. That's all that holds this top thing on when you are blasting bullets out of this top thing. 2 pins. 2 solid steel pins, but either way, like there's nothing down here that's gonna hurt you. Like if you 3D printed a lower, it's not gonna explode because everything happens in this top part here. You 3D print this top part here, it's probably gonna explode. They've happened a lot actually. And then people have no hands. But the what was I saying? You undo this back pin here while leaving this front pin locked in. It just swings open. Slide the bolt out. Wipe it down with a towel. Lube it back up. Slide it back in there. Now you have no dirt in your hole. Like you said, no one wants dirt in their hole. What was the weight of this? Get off my screen. 9mm parabellum. Whatever that fucking means. Some goofy round. It doesn't say the weight. A 110 twist rate? That's not bad. A twist rate? A titty twister? I think my AR-15s are... One of them I know is a 112. I don't know if I have higher or lower. It's aluminum at least. I wish it said what fucking weight it was. Lower receivers not included. Do you think anyone ordered this and they're like, where's the rest of it? Did you think you were ordering a gun? I'll show you the other thing. Not my face. Oh, no new models yet. Damn, I should have got the new one. It's been out a few years now. See, this Glock has at least the something that sits in that, but a 0%. Oops. Yeah, look at that. Just buy a block. That'd be cool. Just get a block of aluminum. Optic cuts. What's an optic cut? See how much more they charge for a billet lower? $115. That's actually a lot of money. What's the optic cut? Is that something new? Oh my lord, what have they done? You can't even see pictures. Oh, now you can. Well, it's a 3D rendering. Well, there's the bit. These little things are getting advanced. I have like, I think number 2. They're not illegal, you can own these. Technically, it's just a desktop CNC. Yeah, like this. I have the this done to the front of my lower, but I also did the back. Looked good. It actually reduced a lot of the weight. You can engrave with it, that I don't recommend doing. It's a pain in the ass. You need specialty bits, which are not free. Anyone can buy bits. I mean, I bought a few bits and they were expensive. There's no information at all. What's the optic cut? $3,000 total. Well, his chart has gone up. I used mine last year too. I don't use it every day. It's lasted this long. Like it's properly built. The first gen to this gen, no, it's way different. Mine doesn't have a power supply. I mean, it has a power supply, but it's not this power supply. It's much smaller. What if they made it faster? Oh, what's that you see? It's an Arduino. They're not complicated machines. %, optic cuts on pistol slides. Oh, optic cuts for the top. Like my SIG has an optic in it, already cut. And you can remove the optic and attach an actual optic. You can, like a red dot. That makes sense. I wasn't thinking optic like a sight. I was thinking optic like laser optics. I'm like, what is it, laser cutting shit now? Laser precision? I don't know. AK-47, Polymer 80, 1911, AR-308s, AR-15. I know it does AR-10s. Optic cuts, 0%. Nice. It's more than a CNC mill. It's a gateway. Gateway to spend fucking $4,000. $3,000, $4,000, same thing. You can buy the machine for $3,000, but you still need everything to finish it good. Now you're $4,000 in. I might build another one. See, number 2 is still supported. There was a program a while ago, they were letting people send in their 2s for an upgrade. They stopped doing it because I think nobody did it. Or I'm an idiot. Nope, this says GG3. The GG3 to the GG2, 3 Okay, I'm saying a lot of words here. GG3 to the GG3S. Improved chip collection. What do you mean, why not both? Why not both? What? That is a better chip guard. Right here where the spindle comes out. The one that's in mine is a very flimsy piece of metal that when you try to stick your hand down in here, because they bunch up right at the bottom here. This machine's a lot wider. They bunch up right here, so when this tray, so when this tray goes up and down, it was hitting the shavings. So I sometimes would stick my hand in there, not while it's fucking running, and, shove some of the shavings back, or a wrench or whatever. And I mean, like, that's kind of like a hindsight thing. Like, it wasn't a great. It worked. You weren't supposed to use it like that, I guess. Some of the people were like there was a Facebook group for them, and of course I was in that group, and people were leaving it in there's a foam padding they ship the box in, and there was a bottom piece. A lot of people would leave it in this bottom piece so it didn't make this horrible noise that it makes when you set it on a desk. It's a CNC. It's going to make horrible noise either way. You're cutting metal. It's the worst sound you've ever heard no matter what you're doing. In any shop with a lathe, drilling holes, it's all the same. They sound the same. Loud. It's very loud. I only do it during the day because it's loud. When I was doing my skeletonizing here in Arizona, I did it during the day because I had to make enough noise with my weed fan at night. I don't run it for 5 hours or anything, but the CNC would sure run 5 hours. You let it run straight and slowly. I mean, like at 30% duty cycle, sure. But I don't run it that slow. I don't have all fucking day. I like to babysit, so I sit there. Not that kind of babysit. I babysit the machine. And I'll actually, I have to sit there. Don't walk away. I have, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine. It's on a slow duty cycle. And I even slowed it down more. Went and got food in Michigan, came back with my buddy, and the machine had, I think, jammed or done something, and it just locked up, and I wasn't home to see it. So I had to reset. Super irritating. I mean, when even when you're familiar with it, you can jam up easily. You might forget one step. Some of the coding is kind of dumb, where it's like it has to line up first, and if you leave the tool in, the actual bit, it'll jam on the material because you didn't take the fucking bit out first. And I'm like, forgot. So then it jabs my tool into the metal. Oh, trust me. I've left marks in lures. It's kind of like my calling sign. It means I fucked it up. It's fine. Doesn't hurt anything. Just aluminum. Well, like an anodized lower, it's just actually anodized. Do you know what anodizing is? You electrify the object with like the negative actual like lead, and then you use the positive side for the spray, and then the positive charged particles stick to the negative. It's just a way to paint with electricity. Harbor Freight sells the tool, but it doesn't come out good. mostly all aluminum is anodized in a way. If you've ever seen raw aluminum, it will corrode. Like there's no way around it. It doesn't rust, it corrodes. So you have to do some sort of. I mean, you could paint it, but like it's still gonna corrode. So you have to anodize it. Anodizing aluminum, it lasts for decades. Unless you scrape it off, then like scratching the paint, then no, it's gonna, it'll corrode eventually. But like how steel is, that one scratch is not going to bubble out and have a corrosion rust bubble under the thing. No, because that's not how aluminum works. Aluminum is actually very strong when you do it right. Now, if you weld aluminum incorrectly, it can crack very easily on the joint, somewhere where there's tension. I mean, it's kind of a weird metal, but it's really strong. It's also really weak. It's really weird. Most bikes, I think, nowadays are full aluminum. China has aluminum. China has different. We use a lot of Chinese aluminum here. I think it's 6,000, 6021, something like that. I think it's Chinese, and then I might be mistaken. It might be 7030, or whatever the number is. I think one of the two is American, and one of them is Chinese. It's how they forge it. It's different. But Chinese aluminum is occasionally lighter. I don't know why. I actually couldn't tell you why. Probably because they don't have as much density in them. That's probably why they make bikes and shit out of them, because it's lighter. But like aircraft aluminum, I think is like 7054 or something like that. I don't remember the numbers. There's a fuck ton of options. But I think it's because it's American. They build planes with American aluminum. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably smart. And, you can get different lowers with different metals. My scooter over there, I think, is Chinese aluminum. It's very light, let me tell you. I think it's 6,000. I think I'm right about that. And then like 6063 could be the number. I'm probably way off too. I mean, years ago I had to weld it to the. But you can't MIG weld aluminum. You need an aluminum welder for that, which means you need TIG. I learned how to TIG weld. I have a TIG welder in the garage. Taught myself. Hated every minute of it. Steel is actually really fun to TIG weld. It's not hard. It's not MIG. MIG is a hot glue gun for steel. You just pull the trigger. And done. The bigger the welder, the better your welds are. Usually. Like, have you ever been to an actual industrial shop? They usually have like giant Miller welders. Miller is a brand. If it's blue, it's a Miller. If it's red, it's Lincoln. If it's a Miller and it's fucking giant, it'll weld any material, any thickness, and I mean, you turn up the setting on that thing, it just beautiful line every time. But smaller the machine, shittier your welds are the first time. Trust me. With a bigger machine, you don't have to clean your surfaces. It'll just melt through anything. Doesn't even care. One of the shops I worked at had like 4 of them. Big ones. Oh, they were so nice. I got to even my sister's brother. to a job there. Then they tell him how to weld on one of these machines, and he's like, I don't understand these the settings and all that. I'm like, turn it on, crank it, pull the trigger. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like he needed his hand held, and I'm like, I'd go in there after like a few months of them teaching him right, and because I do like on call tech, so like I, at the time getting him the job, I worked there 24/7. No, not 24/7. Full time I meant, and then a couple months later, I'm just on call. So while I got called in, I just go see him one day, and I'm like, how are things? Boss is standing right there, and he's like, kind of yelling at me. He's like, this fucker, to hold his fucking hand every time I'm getting in a weld, as he's sitting on the forklift. Like they had my sister's brother, the forklift bitch. He'd be getting the metals they need off the rack, and set them on the ground on the pallets for them. And I was like, so you're more useless than I thought. That's unfortunate. Yep, he's just like a handy boy. I was like, yep, you're pretty useless. They tried to teach him to weld. He fucking fucked it up. Even with a mask on, they said he was acting like he was scared of it. And I was like, I taught myself how to TIG weld. You have to hold, like hug the fucking material you're welding on. You gotta keep the wind off it and shit. Like, dude, MIG is so easy. You just stand there and pull the trigger. I taught myself MIG first in high school. In my high school, they had, like shop class, like every high school has. They teach you how to do shit. We had a go-kart project they make everyone do in that class. They wouldn't let me take the class, so in my own time, I built my own go-kart at home and bought my own welder and did my own project. That was fun. I have pictures on my phone somewhere, but that go-kart eventually, I cut it apart to do other things with it. Put some big bogger wheels on it. Because it was like an inch off the ground and didn't have shocks or anything. It was like a speed cart that I put one of those 200cc engines on it. It was actually pretty fast. It did like 40 miles an hour with no brakes because I didn't add the brakes to it. It needed a, you know how brakes work on a bike? There's a disc and then you have the caliper. I had not mounted the caliper yet, but on the shaft, because I had to go to my shop, place I worked, I had to have them add a keyway, which is actually much simpler than I thought to do that. You pretty much just put it in like what looks like a punch machine, and you just pull a lever, and it essentially presses a shaft out of the metal, whatever you're doing. A keyway press. And I'm like, oh. Which took like 5 minutes to do it. And I'm like, oh. A lot easier than I thought. It's kind of like a drop-in. You just set the shaft there, put the tool in, pull the lever, done. Chopped out a block of it. Then you put your key in, put the disc over it, put a little set screw in there, you're done. The problem was, we originally were going to weld on the disc to the shaft, but then when they had to widen the hole, because I'm not a lathe guy, they had a lathe guy, and I wasn't allowed to operate the lathe because it'll kill me. The lathe guy, when he was turning down the hole to fit this little disc on the giant 1-inch shaft, it had enough torque, I needed a 1-inch shaft, which was funny. We tried a 1/2 inch and I cracked it. And I was like, cool. Not like neat, or what's that movie? I can't think of the movies now. Dominic Toretto with his fucking 5,000 horsepower car with a supercharger. twist off the chassis. No, it wasn't like that. Just like the bumps and driving over sidewalks and cracks and shit. It just was so thin it just cracked. So we did a 1 inch, which is overkill. But it's what the shop had that was, the length I needed. Fast and Furious, that was a movie. Yeah, I'm not Fast and Furious. It didn't have enough torque to like twist the chassis or anything. It was a Harbor Freight motor. No, it with a fucking clutch on it. No. Didn't have that much torque. It was torquey. It would lift the front up, but like it's an inch off the ground. And it had a wheelie bar. So like you couldn't flip or anything. And it wouldn't sustain the wheelie. It would go for a couple seconds and then drop back down. And you're like, that was fun. When the actual clutch would like speed up and it'd drop back down. There was a way to belt drive it, and I was like, that's more work. It's funny, we were talking about AI. Now we're talking about guns and welding. Then useless people learning to weld. Can you weld? I think you should learn to weld. It's a good skill. TIG welders are actually pretty cheap. Cheaper than you think. I mean, you're going to spend... You need a lot of shit, so you can spend some money. Cheaper than a fucking GPU rig. My phone lit up there. I'm not saying go out of your way and buy a welder, but you should. I'll sell you mine. I need a new one. one of the flux capacitor ones. Was that one of the welders you bought? The MIG flux core ones. I agree. I used one of those way back. Flux core is awful. There are people that stand by flux core and say if you use it with gas, it's actually a lot better. And I'm like, yeah, but like the welder sucked. 115 volt for anything. 120 volt, whatever you want to say. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. It was a mess. Then you're spending half your time grinding it down, adding a layer, grinding it down. Oh, God. I burnt so many holes with that dumb welder. But as I'm saying, I taught myself. And then I got at least decent with it. Learned not to turn the power up. And then bought a TIG. I think it was an AHP. An AHP. It's really good. Had a ton of settings. But I never quite got the hang of doing aluminum. So then I went to my shop that had an aluminum Miller TIG welder, and they showed me how to do all the settings and stuff. But like they had industrial 3-phase, so it like actually worked. Your house 240 volt is not the fucking same as 3-phase power. I don't know why, but when welders run on 3-phase, they run better than when they run on 240 volt single phase, which is technically dual phase, but I don't know. Works better. Threat Intel Aggregator. FBI InfraGard. CISA feeds. GitHub threat repos. Why didn't it use those the first fucking time? Oh, but it can tell me about Reddit r/net security, but it can't look up Reddit threads. You fucking asshole. I told it to compare what I've built to like whatever it finds on GitHub, which is done for different projects of mine. And it's like, I can't look at the internet. And I'm like, yes, you fucking can. Since when? When the fuck can you not look at the internet? I don't know. I somehow prompted wrong, and it just didn't. It was like, I can't do that. And I'm like, yes, you can. Don't tell me you can't. I know you can. Fuck your compliance. GPT-4 powered SOC analyst. No. Comma. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Whoops. Comma. Backspace twice. Comma. Active defense. Strike back legally. That's gay. Da, 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 da. 75% of my weekly limit, and it's Monday. I looked already when it said it was going to reset again. Monday. That's why I was looking at running my own models. But they're not this. So then I gotta fucking tell them and do stuff. I don't want to do that. Look at me go, I'm so good. Aren't I good at coding? I'm the best. Somehow still better than Pirate Software. Oh, we got an error. Well, there goes another 5%. Fix the numpy issue. It's numpy. I've actually been running this a few days. It actively pulls everything constantly. There were a couple false flags in there. But then I looked up some of the other stuff it was doing, and it was like, well, it's supposed to be analyzing what users are currently doing. But I guess instead of that, it started filling in the blanks and was like comparing it to like average, like if someone Googles something or goes on YouTube, just random filler data. And I'm like, no! Don't train on that, you fuck. But you know, that is the problem with this. Doing what I'm doing here. Threat actor profiling. Alright, man. Good night. I'm gonna put on some music. Ooh, lossless audio is so nice. It's actually clearer. That's the truth. I'm gonna tax you. Get you whatever you need. I'm gonna tax the shit out of you.